Welcome back, Tribe. Ozempic is literally, we're going to say, a weight loss drug. It's actually not healthy for you. Profit over people, baby. Welcome to America.
Is literally the hottest drug in the country right now.
Oh! The medication works, but only as long as you take it.
Everybody looks so great. When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
A weight loss drug called Ozempic has been taking the world by storm.
So I was on it for, I think, a week. I realized that's what was making me nauseous. But yeah, the whole town is on Ozempic. My doctor had given it to me a while ago and said, oh, if you ever want to lose a couple pounds in a week, this is what it is.
How long have you been on the Ozempic?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yes. It's actually Bonjoro. It's another part of it.
Oh, that's the amped up version.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
You're
That's the fast forward to Skinnyville.
You're kidding. And
Reunion in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Elon Musk have been dosing themselves with Ozempic and are losing weight like crazy.
I am serious. Hey, man, where's the apple pie?
This drug is being pushed as a true magic pill that will literally make you thinner and hotter overnight. That this is the future of civilization. That we may be looking at a world where obesity will be a thing of the past. That no longer will you have to worry about eating right. Just stuff your face as much as you want and this drug will do the rest.
We're always looking for a solution, the easiest way to not change our shit behaviors and unfortunately introduce like a million side effects in the process. Do we know what's going to happen long term to the human body when you inject this substance into it? No, we just know that you'll lose weight rapidly, like in a few weeks. Do you think losing weight rapidly is healthy anyways? Everything has to be done over a consistent longer term time frame, or your body is going to yo-yo back and forth. Like what happens when you get off this product? Because in the beginning it said as long as you take it. So when you stop, do you yo-yo back like a fad diet or like a crash diet would? Here we go, man. Stupidity of the modern world. It continues, all in the name of profit. Millions of morons are taking this substance instead of not stuffing their gullets.
And guess what? It really does work.
We have used this drug clinically in a number of patients. Does it work? Yes, it does work. This is a profound appetite suppressant.
But what they won't tell you is that Ozempic is extremely dangerous. These drugs have been clinically proven to cause serious conditions like ischemia of the intestines, chronic malnutrition, kidney disease, and thyroid cancer. We're talking potential permanent damage to your body.
There is an FDA black box warning on Ozempic stating very clearly that if you have any history of thyroid tumor or a family history of thyroid tumor, you better not take this.
One woman took Ozempic to lose weight and can't even keep food down anymore. She literally can't eat.
Some weeks I can vomit up to 200 times.
These drugs destroy your insides, and some people said they gained even more weight when they went off it.
What happens when you stop? Do you balloon back?
A follow-up study in 2022 showed that 2/3 of the individuals that lost their weight, guess what, when they stopped? It all came back, including their hypertension and their diabetes.
And yet, they're still pushing this drug. Why? Because, think about it. If you can convince the entire population that obesity isn't your fault, if you can tell the masses that you don't need to exercise or fix your diet and hormones, all you gotta do is take this drug, but the moment you get off this drug, you'll gain all the way back and more.
This is the drug that they managed to push through after classifying obesity as a disease, right? So we changed that in the United States recently. And that was one of the hallmarks of getting this past FDA approval. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is a really good channel, so he's probably gonna mention this.
Well, you will turn the entire population into your customers for life. In fact, it's so profitable that the maker behind Ozempic has already exploded to the second largest corporation in the EU. That's why they're pushing Ozempic.
Ozempic also slows down how fast your stomach empties food, and this is called gastric emptying.
Welcome to Evil Food Supply, and this is the big Ozempic scam. The average American spends over $100 on big pharma drugs like Ozempic every month. But what's even crazier is that people spend twice as much as that on online subscriptions, which is why we use today's sponsor, Rocket Money, to manage and cancel subscriptions that Ozempic was first released in 2017, not as a weight loss solution, but as a diabetes medication that lowers blood sugar. But this diabetes medication also had a very handy side effect: weight loss. Millions of people with type 2 diabetes were relying on Ozempic to keep themselves alive, and a lot of them lost weight while they were on it. And so, word started to spread, and doctors started prescribing it off-label for weight loss.
There was literally a run to doctors to prescribe this medication for them off-label in order to help them with their weight loss.
A drug shortage is impacting people living with diabetes, and some pharmacies say they just can't get it in stock.
CBS 17's Dina Harley is in Garner with advice from pharmacists.
A shortage of the drug Ozempic.
Just recently, in the last 2 weeks, it's been a problem. Higher doses are the problem right now.
Impacting people living with diabetes. Craig Illig with White Oak Pharmacy in Garner says they just can't get enough of it from wholesalers.
I check throughout the day, probably 7 or 8 times a day with the wholesaler, and sometimes it'll pop in the middle of the day, and we try to order what we can.
And the results were pretty staggering. In one study, participants lost about 15 pounds after just 3 months, and about 27 pounds after 6 months. And that's without any annoying exercising or dieting. And those are just the faceless studies. The testimonials that started going viral online were even crazier. And the way Ozempic works is actually very simple. When you finish a meal, your gut releases a hormone called GLP-1. This hormone signals to your body that you're full, so you're not hungry anymore. Ozempic is basically an artificial version of this GLP-1 hormone. So by injecting yourself with this artificial hormone, you're forcing your body to feel full, even if you haven't eaten anything all day. So basically, Ozempic artificially tricks your brain into not feeling hungry, which will naturally lend to you not eating as much and thus losing weight. It's as close to a magic pill for obesity as we've ever gotten.
It's just like an EpiPen for Wegovy, let's say, for a month. You open one, you take it.
Oh, in your stomach?
In your stomach. You take it, go like that, press.
That's it.
That's it.
So it's no wonder why Ozempic went so viral. Now everyone was begging their doctors for Ozempic, not because they have diabetes and will die without it, but because they want to lose a few pounds before their wedding. Or if they're a celebrity, they want to get thin for a new movie role.
Perhaps more disturbing to me is the people who are reaching out to me who are frankly not overweight remotely, but are saying like, I really want to lose 10 pounds to look good on my vacation, and I should be taking this, right?
I was reading something that there's a lot of women who are taking some new, there's some like an injection that kills your appetite, and they're doing it, what is it called?
I actually know exactly what you're talking about. It mimics had you had like the stomach surgery, like in terms of appetite curbing.
Right.
But Ozempic was still a drug labeled for diabetes. The company that makes this drug is Novo Nordisk. And as Novo Nordisk, as you noticed this wild Ozempic craze, you knew you were sitting on a gold mine. The only problem was, there were silly little doctors who were refusing to prescribe Ozempic for weight loss because their patients didn't have diabetes.
Oh, here's how we get it prescribed for fat people. Here comes America. Damn it, boys. Which one of you didn't email me in time to invest in this company? We missed out. Train has left the station. No chasing profits on this one. What's the next come up? Come on, somebody is in the pharma game. Spill some secrets in the comment section, please.
Those unethical criminals! So you decided to create an even more potent version of Ozempic, specifically marketed for weight loss. This drug is literally the same as Ozempic, just with more semaglutide, the GLP-1 hormone that's in Ozempic. And lucky for you, Wegovy was happily approved by the FDA for weight loss.
There you go.
So now, you didn't have to worry about those stubborn doctors anymore. Now, anyone can get the Wegovy pen.
I wonder what promises and kickbacks are given to get this approval done, huh?
Young and old. With the FDA by your side and a sexy new brand name, you as Novo Nordisk started pouring millions of dollars into your advertising campaign.
A big price tag even for Big Pharma. Novo Nordisk spent more than $11 million on wooing prescribers to promote popular weight loss drugs like Ozempic.
There goes the price tag.
$11 million to literally wine and dine doctors. That breaks down to 457,000 meals. Nearly 12,000 prescribers received free food from Novo Nordisk more than a dozen times last year. And more.
Your doctor sold you out for free food. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And you wonder if there's, or I should say, how bad corruption could possibly be at the highest levels of government with other lobbyists. What do you think they're doing to our politicians for a little bit of influence peddling? If your doctor is willing to sell out your health and go against his Hippocratic oath for a meal.
More than 200 prescribers received more than 50 free meals and snacks from the company.
Wow.
And one doctor received 193 free meals. And guess what? A simple meal or two like that worked, with Novo Nordisk's stock just continuing to climb. While at the same time, more and more patients started complaining about some brutal side effects.
May cause death. Side effect.
Because your stomach is staying fuller longer, all that food just sits there and rots. Which is why one woman named Emily Wright reported that when she took Ozempic, her breath started to smell like sulfur and rotten eggs. She also would constantly throw up, and when she did, it would be food from 3 or 4 days prior. Yeah, some of these people on Ozempic are walking around with old, decaying food in their stomachs.
Because if you eat a lot of food and take this medication that slows your gastric emptying, it's gonna make you feel worse and you're gonna have more side effects. More nausea, more vomiting, more potential diarrhea and constipation. People are actually talking about these side effects who are eating their normal portions or even eating reduced portions. So imagine if you were to overeat thinking you can while taking this medication. That's a cause for concern.
While at the same time, since you're not eating as much, people usually develop malnutrition. And malnutrition can lead to a ton of horrible health conditions like loss of muscle mass, heart disease, infertility, hair loss, anxiety, depression. I mean, come on, wouldn't you be okay with experiencing these things so you can look better on Instagram?
Almost without exception, every patient we've put on this drug has lost muscle mass, and they have lost it at a rate that alarms me.
But wait, it gets worse. These drugs have been linked to a rare form of thyroid cancer, pancreatitis, disease of the gallbladder, hypoglycemia, and kidney failure. And just as we were writing this video, the FDA announced that another potential side effect is intestinal blockage. Intestinal blockage is exactly what it sounds like. It's when something blocks your intestine. This can lead to severe belly pain, cramping, vomiting.
All right, dude, we know how the story goes. You can watch the full video on his channel, Evil Food Supply, because nothing more needs to really be said. No government institution gives a shit about you. If anything, the last few years have revealed the truth to every single person on this planet. Profit comes before you, power comes before you, special interest comes before you. Institutions do not serve you. You are a slave. Our representatives, our public servants, are no longer serving anybody but themselves. They are leaders now, a new aristocracy. That word servant is a sick joke now. They don't care. They take our tax money and they do what they please with it, and it's never in our own interest. Our streets are crumbling. There are potholes and metal plates everywhere. There are homeless people defecating on sidewalks, injecting themselves with hard drugs in front of little kids. You can't even go enjoy a meal on a terrace anywhere by the street. Don't even think about walking alone at night anywhere. You will get robbed. They sprout up tent cities on overpasses and underpasses. They've made cities unlivable, unwalkable. It's such a joke. And then you factor in inflation and the economic hardships of today, where you're spending thousands of dollars on rent if you could even find an apartment where housing is atrocious in the city anyways, and still you have to deal with all these things. You have no reprieve. You have to move out in the middle of nowhere, and in the middle of nowhere, there's no work. So you're screwed. This is the mouse utopia experiment running wild on humans. And you're seeing the quote behavioral sinks in real time. flourishing. Watch how Western civilization is completely crumbling on all fronts. Having been traveling these past few months, I'm so glad I get to see the world and how much more of the world I'm going to see in the next couple of months, because there's so much propaganda out there about how America is the greatest place on earth, how land of the free, home of the brave. Yeah, we have so much freedom. You have like almost no fucking freedom in America, to be honest. I got my guns. Do you really though? Because it sure seems like every day they take more away, don't they? It sure seems like over up in Canada, you can get your bank accounts taken away if you supported some truckers. Sounds very democratic and free, doesn't it? Oh, wait a second. Did you know that guy that was making memes about Hillary Clinton has been sentenced to years in prison in America? Did you know that one? Bet you didn't, did you? Did you know the UK government has actively messaged private corporations to demonetize people like Russell Brand because reporting on the news is making them look bad? What freedoms do we have left here in the West? Please explain to me how our system is even functioning at a fraction of its democratic values. The US Constitution gets trampled on year after year by politician after politician. Everybody's hanging on by a thread. It seems like tyranny is knocking on our doorsteps. I'm not making any of this up. You can Google all this stuff and see it for yourself. The government can take your kids away if you don't gender them what they want to based on what their thoughts are in their head. Schools are actively keeping information from their parents because a kid says, I identify as. What part of this sounds free to you? I don't understand. Because we've all been gaslit and manipulated in the way that the end-all conversation that I see online with some of my American friends is, do they allow guns? At least I can get my guns. What's your guns going to do when your kid comes home with purple hair and says, I identify as, and if you don't call me by my new name, Big Daddy government is going to come take your kid from you, and they're going to end up being sold on the market somewhere in some foreign country because they get trafficked and end up on some fucking disgusting video on some disgusting people that you're going to find out gets arrested long after the problem has happened, and then your kid just self-deleted themselves. That story is out there. It has happened. Where were the guns there? I don't know, bro. If you have half a fucking brain in your head, you're starting to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you got to see that it's time to get out. Either get out or start getting back into civic duty. The main issue and how we ran into this is nobody gives a damn about politics anymore. I hate to talk about politics all the time. It is annoying, I understand. But if we don't have regular people running for office, or regular people will never be represented. You think Donald Trump's gonna save you? That's a billionaire. He hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein. You think JFK? You think Bozo Biden is going to save any of you? They're taking money from Ukraine. There's corruption on all sides of the aisle. None of these people represent working, normal human beings. They belong to the aristocracy. You are a plebeian. They look at you with disgust. They go on the campaign trail, drop little crumbs in front of you, tell you how they're going to change your life, how they're going to be the ones that make everything better for you. And then they get in office, and then nothing happens. And then that's the game plan. And then they clean glasses together behind the curtain over there in Washington and London and wherever else. And they go, wow, look at these fucking idiots voting for us again, thinking shit's gonna change. And it doesn't. And their kids go to private schools. Their kids are fenced away from the normal poors. They live in gated neighborhoods with armed guards. They have private transportation away from all of you dirties out in the world. Yeah, they live on another fucking planet pretty much. And they rule over everybody else. You want to change the system, bro? You have two options. Vote with your feet and your wallet by leaving completely, removing yourself from the system, getting a passport and going somewhere else, or two, getting involved in doing your civic duty. That's it. Nobody running for office, nobody currently in office right now is going to represent you. Until people realize this, ain't shit gonna change, bro. Keep voting red, keep voting blue, keep voting Labor, keep voting conservatives, keep voting whoever the hell you want to vote for. You're gonna get more of the same. Don't worry though, they'll have their 5-second clip for you to watch on TikTok and then fight over in the comment section about how we miss this guy so much. They're gonna change our lives. Everything was better under this guy. It is what it is. Anywho, let's see what the comment sections say before I go a little too ham in the rants and you'll only see me on Rumble. First, make people addicted to food to a life-threatening degree, then sell them an expensive product that they'll have to take for the rest of their life to cure the addiction. Well played, corporate overlords. Well played. Now, I'm grateful I was born in a country in which obesity is not common. Quality of food is great, and physical activity is encouraged, practically mandatory. practically mandatory to commute around the city. I blame all the processed carbs and additives in food for our uptick in obesity. I find it hilarious that off-label prescription went from dangerous malpractice during the vid years to completely okay again. The medical community is a meme at this point. Kind of ironic how feeding doctors ended up convincing them to excessively prescribe a medication that curbs their patient's appetite. And there it is. Welcome to America and the rest of the Western world at large. We'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care.